So welcome everyone. Thank you for taking time out and joining us for this webinar, the e-commerce routes into Central Asia. I'm Louis Chen, economist at HKTDC, and I will be your moderator today. As we all very much aware, the COVID-19 outbreak saw e-commerce take center stage, compelling struggling businesses to try out new sales avenues in both local and overseas markets, including Central Asia. One destination that has clearly appealed to many is Kazakhstan, the region's most advanced economy and powerhouse. 2021 is set to be a historic and milestone year for Kazakhstan as it celebrates 30 years of independence and recovers from the COVID-induced recession to be on track to become one of the top 30 global economies. With that very much in mind, our aim here today is to net our two Central Asian experts, Ms. Akakin Evalieva and Ms. Daria Takina, help us navigate our way through Kazakhstan's dynamic e-commerce landscape while providing key insights into securing success in the wider region. Before we go any further, let me give our experts a proper introduction. First up, as well as acting as the HKTDC's Almaty consultant, Akakin is also the Deputy Director of the Almaty Chamber of Entrepreneurs. A specialist in promoting the country's foreign trade and investment, she provides a consultancy service to many of the Kazakh companies looking to expand globally. Today, she is joined by another e-commerce expert, Daria Takina. As the head of business development for Kaspi, Kazakhstan's largest online marketplace, Daria is responsible for the platform's cross-border operations, with onboarding overseas vendors falling within her remit. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our speakers, and please bear in mind that they are all joining us via live streaming from Almaty, Kazakhstan's largest city, where it is 2 hours behind Hong Kong. A few rules of engagement before we begin. Today's webinar will take the form of presentations by our two speakers. Should you have any questions, please key them into the question box on your GoToWebinar control panel. A Q&A section will follow after the presentations. Let's begin proceedings by inviting Akakin to bring us up to speed on Kazakhstan's economic and logistics development, with a particular focus on how its post-COVID prospects are. Over to you, Akakin. Sorry, Akakin. Sorry to interrupt. So we cannot hear you. Maybe the speaker on your side is not working.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, okay. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, dear friends. Sorry for technical problems. Yes, Kazakhstan, one of the biggest Central Asian countries and one of the richest in natural and oil resources. It also has the vast agricultural sector. And today, it's also the gate between Asia and Europe, which connect both in trade and other economic activities. Within the Central Asia, our city Almaty is a growth driver and a point of attraction on a regional and national scale. Local entrepreneurship has made a great contribution to the development of not only the region but also to the country as a whole. There is an understanding of maturity and readiness of our companies to increase the competitiveness of their products. In the coming years, sustainable economic growth is expected, which will lead to the creation of new jobs in sectors with high added value and export potential. In Almaty, the trade and services sector hit the hardest. These are transport, tourism, catering activities, trade and other services, hotels, financial sector. Based on the result of a survey on the current state of business, we compiled a portrait of the post-COVID reality for entrepreneurs, on the basis of which we propose systematic support measures. Next slide, please. However, the COVID pandemic has led to significant growth in online commerce and increased sales through B2C channels. The increase is in retail activity via the internet occurred during the period of outbreaks of quarantine. The increase in sales through B2C channels was especially large in online sales of medicines, household items, and food. Also, the challenges of online business services have led to the creation of an ecosystem for the whole business. About 60% of our country's online stores operate in Almaty, which account for more than 61% for all internet trade and services. So it means that through our cities, through our office and our services, you can get access to all the online shops and trade on our marketplaces. The amount of taxes paid in e-commerce last year increased by 78%. According to a survey conducted among the large internet companies, Kaspi, KZ, Lamoda, Wildberries, Sulpak, Technodom, and others, growth in wholesale and retail e-commerce and services is predicted on average from 30 to 40%. Next slide, please. E-commerce market before, during, and after the pandemic shows in this slide. So the volume of retail e-commerce market in the first 9 months of the last year grew up by 93% compared to the same period in 2019. We're also observing an increase in the number of transactions, online orders, and the average spend in KZ, in Kazakhstan currency increased by 63% respectively. Moreover, the market volume in American dollars also increased, but slightly less than in local currency. Quarantine was announced only toward the end of the quarter, the first quarter last year, and therefore it can be assumed that changes in the last year compared to the 2019 would reflect the usual trend of changes in market volumes. Next slide, please. Well, some sources of digital transformation of China's retail to the outbreak of severe to the COVID, you can see that it also, according to the market players, in the difficult period of the pandemic, everyone got a lot of experience, both buyers and sellers. E-commerce will develop rapidly this year as a result of both the entrance of new players, and the expansion of the existing large players. And the volume of retail e-commerce market and the number of transactions in the second part of last year compared to the first part of the last year grew almost the same by 34% and 32% respectively. It can be assumed that the number of consumers in this sector increased during the quarantine. However, the average amount of the purchase did not change, and the US dollars in US dollars payment decreased altogether from 51 to 98. 51 to 49, sorry. The reason for this may be that more consumers have switched to online shopping from offline. This could be explained by jobs loss, decrease in purchasing power, changes in preferences, and other reasons contributed to a slight increase in average spend in local currency and decrease in the average spend in American dollars. Next slide, please. The pandemic and quarantine period affected the entire retail industry in our country. Small and medium-sized businesses that have not previously considered moving into e-commerce sector have come under pressure from COVID-19 pandemic and have lost access to customers. Many key players in e-commerce sector have strengthened their positions in the market due to the streamlined online system and an increase in transactions by 16%. The increase in average spend in local currency is 37%, as we told before, and the respondents note that pandemic did not so much bring something new to the e-commerce market, but simply strengthened the trends that were outlined in 2019 and accelerated their growth. Also, the respondents observed the development of new categories such as everyday goods and foods. Next slide, please. In this slide, you can see the volume of retail e-commerce market by the end of the last year, that and the number of transactions. By the end of 2020, the state of emergency in Kazakhstan was already lifted, and despite the fact that consumers would return to the usual channel of shopping in online stores, the number of transactions and the average spend, both in local currency and American dollars equivalent, continued to grow. Such a trend of transition to online retail is associated on the one hand with the needs of consumers, fear of being in crowded places, and the need for social distancing and other countermeasures. On the other hand, the quickly reacting e-commerce market expanded the range of services and goods, improved the quality of service, made it possible to provide various payment and delivery options, which helped it retain consumers even after lockdown was lifted. According to the players of e-commerce market in Kazakhstan, the level of e-commerce penetration is still quite low. Therefore, the growth potential is high. The pandemic and the city quarantine has increased the penetration of e-commerce among elderly, and there was also been an increase in online consumptions from outlying cities. The current forecast for GDP growth for this year is 3.2%. Competition in the foreign direct investment market is growing. The capital and raw material market is experiencing a high level of uncertainty. Value chain are changing towards sustainability. Development of local production, transportation, and storage is expected. Agricultural growth is projected at over 6%. Next slide, please. Logistics. The active development of logistics in Kazakhstan began in the 10 years ago. Today, warehouses with the use of various storage technologies have actively appeared in the country. Below are the important advantages of modern logistics in Kazakhstan. The location between Europe and Asia. From 2007, by present, the number of warehouses and terminals has increased, ready to work with cargo of various types, from food to clothing and household appliances. The operating logistics companies in the countries are implementing a European approach to solving transport problems using specialized IT solutions. This leads to an increase of efficiency of cargo delivery. The prospects for logistics and cargo transportation market in Kazakhstan look impressive. Of course, the pandemic caused some delays on the border, but still, Chinese commodity goods are #1 in our country in sales. And next slide, please. I would like to tell a little about the chamber, our Aftameken chamber. It's called National Chamber, which has branches in all regions in Kazakhstan. And it's supported by government, and this is the bridge and the link between the business and government, as a lobby, as negotiator, and as advocacy for business. As the regional chamber in Almaty has become the effective dialogue platform for business and government. And in this slide, you can see that we have more than 18 branches, not only in the main cities, but also in every region of our oblast, as we say. Oblast is a big part of the country. Province, who is the province, in every region of each province. And next slide, please. And this is the main activities of Aftameken. So we can present interest at the court in all the state bodies. We can help to promote your interests and protect your rights here as in investors, as in importers, as in businesses. We can help you to open and register companies, and we can find the most important, here the partners, which could be distributors and your representatives, sales agents, and the different kind of large wholesale buyers. Next slide, please. And here also we do some services on consultancy as well. Next slide, please. This is our contact. My email, my office email, my personal email, my personal mobile with WhatsApp. This is our Instagram, Hong Kong business page, and this is our address. We are located in this downtown of Almaty, in the business center, with IT companies here and trade companies. So if you come to our office, you can meet all your partners, potential partners, the companies who sell the electronics, different kind of goods. More включить экран. And today we have a special guest from Moscow. As Louis said, Daria came to have the seminar to our office and kindly spent her time in her tough schedule
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. First of all, I'd like to express gratitude to Hong Kong Trade Development Council and to National Chamber of Entrepreneurs of Kazakhstan for the opportunity to participate in this webinar. I truly believe that it's quite important to have such events. They are of great help to business. So today I will try to, I really want to share my perspective on the development of e-commerce market in Kazakhstan, and I'd like to talk about some opportunities that this market can open for foreign entrepreneurs. And I will talk about this market as I am the head of the business development unit in a company that is considered to be an absolute leader of e-commerce in Kazakhstan. It's a marketplace called Kaspi.kz. Today I will try to answer three main questions. How does the e-commerce market of Kazakhstan look like today? How can it be useful for the development of your business? And what is the most effective and the quickest way to reach this market? Please, next slide. I'd like to start by highlighting a few reasons for entering the market. First of all, it's a very fast-growing market. The volume of which has been doubling for several years in a row. However, at the same time, there is a relatively small number of sellers on the market, which leads to a low competition and lots of empty or almost empty product categories. This combination of factors provides you and your business with lots of business opportunities. Today, the population of Kazakhstan is about 80 million people. It's a quarter of the population of the entire Central Asia. So entering this market will help you to significantly increase your customer base and to diversify your sales channels, which is quite important for every business. If you want to enter a new market, I strongly advise you to do it through the largest player of this market if it's possible, as it will help you to lower your marketing and promotion costs. And luckily in Kazakhstan we have such a player which reduces entry barriers. The next slide, please. The COVID-19 pandemic had a quite pronounced impact to the e-commerce market of Kazakhstan, as the self-isolation regime here lasted for more than a year, and the shopping malls were closed on weekends and national holidays for the entire 2020, and I guess for the part of the year in 2021. On weekdays, shopping malls worked from 10 to 5 p.m., which led to the fact that even great fans of offline shopping were forced to go online and to buy online. However, I'd like to highlight that this upward trend, it began even before the COVID-19. It began in 2018, 2019. So in 2021, as you can see on the slide, the total volume of the whole e-commerce market in Kazakhstan amounted to $1.4 billion. And in the first half of 2021, we can see that the whole market almost equaled the indicator of 2020. So it's more than $1 billion. So we can expect that in 2021 the market will exceed $2 billion as the high season is just ahead. What is also quite important to my mind is the fact that last year the average purchase amount also increased. So it was about $60, which is noticeably higher than in all post-Soviet countries. For instance, in Russia, the average purchase online, average check is about $21. So it indicates that people are ready to buy quite expensive goods online, for instance, smartphones, household appliances, beauty gadgets, and so on. And they began to buy more goods at a time. Which is quite important for online, for sellers who want to see their goods online. To a large extent, such high average check in online shopping is related to the company I represent. Next slide, please. I'd like to tell you about our company and its role in Kazakhstan. Today, Kaspi is the biggest retail bank, payment system, marketplace, and fintech company in Kazakhstan. We have a quite large and loyal audience who loves our product and uses our services on daily basis using our app. The next slide, please. Today, our super app is in top 3 the most popular apps in Kazakhstan, competing with TikTok and Instagram. So people can use it for buying goods, for making transactions, payments, and so on. The next slide, please. In October 2020, we held a quite successful IPO on the London Stock Exchange. So today, company's market capitalization is about $20 billion. It's a very important step for our company. The next one, please. Today, marketplace is a crucial part of our ecosystem with GMV of $950 million in 2020. It accounted for 63% of the entire e-commerce market. In the first 2 quarters of 2021, we demonstrated GMV of $690 million, and we have an impressively high average purchase amount due to, the next slide please, due to installment and loan instruments that provided to customers by our bank. This significantly increases customers' purchasing power, and at the same time, this does not affect sellers on our platform in any way, which is a win-win situation for both sellers and customers. The next slide, please. Now let's move to terms of cooperation. In order to enter Kazakhstan e-commerce market through us, through Kaspi Marketplace, you will not need to open a legal entity in Kazakhstan or a representative office here, as we can cooperate with Hong Kong legal entities, which is quite good for business as it simplifies all processes. We will create a seller's personal account for you where you can upload information about your goods and receive prepaid orders from customers all over Kazakhstan. We have customers in more than 80 cities here in Kazakhstan. We take a marketplace commission from 5 to 15%. For instance, we will take 5% commission for goods like household appliances, gadgets, smartphones, and so on. Which is also quite important is the fact that sellers receive money in dollars. They receive money 2 times a month for all delivered orders. So in order to cooperate with us, you also will not need to open a foreign currency account in tenge or in Russian rubles or in any other currency. You will just need a dollar bank account. Kaspi Logistics provides quick and quite cheap delivery services within Kazakhstan, taking orders from a warehouse, from seller's warehouse, and delivering them to a customer's door. Our delivery cost is from $1 to $3, depending on the category. The next slide, please. On this slide, you can see the whole delivery process. We do not have our own warehouses in Kazakhstan or in any other country, so we can cooperate only with sellers who are ready to use fulfillment by seller model and to have a warehouse in Russia or Kazakhstan. As today, Kasper Delivery unfortunately cannot pick up goods in Hong Kong or in China. We only can pick up in Kazakhstan or in Russia. So in order to cooperate with us, you will need to open or find a warehouse here or in Russia. But as I was told, if some entrepreneurs from Hong Kong will have an interest in entering Kasper Marketplace, the Chamber of Entrepreneurs can kindly provide an assistance with finding or opening a warehouse here in Kazakhstan, which also quite good way to start business processes here. The next slide, please. In order to enter Kasper Marketplace, you will need to sign and submit documents. Then we will create a seller's personal account for you, where you can upload information about your goods. We also can provide an assistance with uploading information about products in Russian. So you will not need to translate or localize your product. We will just need product information in English. That will be more than enough. And the last slide, please. If you are interested in entering quite fast-growing e-commerce market of Kazakhstan, you can write me a cooperation request on the email that you can see on the slide, and I will provide you with all necessary information, and we with Chamber of Entrepreneurs will try to assist you with logistics, with warehouses in Kazakhstan and so on. So thank you.